Guys, Mr. Shockwave King here once again. You guys saw the title of the video. Yes, it's Coach Kurogama again, the beast, the training machine, the man who is willing to sacrifice his own life for the youth of the Japanese boxers, the Kurogama gym. Is he sick? Once again, I did kind of answer this in the latest chapter review I did for the chapter, but I really want to hone in and focus on this because there are some people who think Kurogama is not sick, which I question how you can't see that this man is obviously sick. If you actually pay attention to his eyes, I feel like this. We all recall the first time Kurogama got sick during training. It was one of those things where Ippo didn't notice. In this case, his Ippo just came back from Mexico. Ippo wouldn't know anything about it. But the first time this happened, after Ippo was lost to AJ Dante and Coach Kurogama and Ippo were trying to evolve, come up with a Dentaro or build up Ippo's defense. There was this whole scene where Coach Kurogama was like, as Ippo was pushing him in that motorbike up the hill, and just Ippo somehow just didn't notice it. I don't see how, but he puts him up the mouse, and then Ippo just hit him, and they're doing a miss with the coach, and then it's just the coach goes down, ends up in the hospital, and then you get the infamous scene. We gotta get back to the gym, kid. And one of the key signs in the manga, which not inside the anime, it wasn't shown inside the anime, but it is shown in the manga. When he first gets up while he was in the hospital, it does show that his eyes are darkened. What that had to do with anything? It just happens. And I'm really sad that I'm not able to find this panel in particular. But there is a particular panel where when Ippo caught a fever once, and from this fever his eyes are so darkened and blackened. I actually legitimately tried to search for this chapter for some time, for some legitimate time, and I was not able to find it, sadly. But what this whole thing is this: Ippo also had those blackened dark eyes, just like Coach Kurogama now currently have them black darkened eyes. It's just one of those things that's actually there. But I personally believe that Coach Kurogama is sick. There's no way he can't be, because it is rare that we see people with eyes emphasize that black and that dark. It's very rare. And the only times I recall it was when first he got sick in the manga, his eyes are darkening like you see in the thumbnail. And the second time is when Ippo caught that fever, and I can't remember who he fought when he caught that fever, and then after he was just like, oh, how considerate Itagaki to seeing Kumi here, how considerate. But somehow Ippo should be different from the great Takamura. Really but he's supposed to be so different. But we really pay attention to it, and some might say, oh, this is random, or there's no reason for Coach Kurogama to be sick, or it's this and that, or some people might try to say or argue. But the whole thing is, he's sick. That's pretty much it. There's no secret ingredient. Now it does go into the whole thing of what does it mean by Coach Kurogama being sick, and how would it affect everybody else. Because it seems like the Takamura has moved up the weight class, because it does seem like he's packed on more muscle than usual. But even if that's the case, then you expect that. In certain way you expect something different, but you really don't. You really don't know. Because it seems like Takamura just here is just basically just doing the mix with the coach, and the coach is just looking sick. That's pretty much it. From what all I see, pretty much. Hey. I personally believe he's sick. Some people might say he's not sick, but I can't see how you can't see how he's not. Also, another thing, when you pay attention to Coach Kurogama, when he's trying to hit in the mix Takamura, do you notice how frail? Not really frail, but you notice how, unlike usually when he's do the mix with Ippo and Takamura, every time Takamura hits Kurogama, maybe it's because of Takamura's strength, There's only one problem with the saying this Takamura is strange, and that's is Kurogama, literally, this mad old man, was able to scare Nakoda Genpachi. You know what? It is Nakoda Genpachi, but how monstrous and furious this man was training. In the woods, alone. He's literally trained himself to keep up with Ippo and Takamura. Like I said before, Coach Kurogama is willing to give his life, literally. He's willing to die training Takamura and Ippo. These are his words, not mine. Not mine at all. That is what he told Nakoda. It's just like, if I give my life to Cinnamon, let's go do it. I'm willing to do it. He like, Nakoda's just like, it's like you turn yourself into some kind of monster. And he busts out laughing about it. But usually, Coach Kurogama doesn't really struggle like this. He doesn't really do it at all. As in, each hit, and this is like, even before that, as I talk more, tell Kimura and Shino just like, stop with the games. I'm trying to train here. Takamura says, let's keep going, old man. And he's just like, the way Kurogama looks after Takamura says that, he looks unusually tired. He really does. And I just don't recall a Coach Kurogama ever shaking this much for doing the match with Takamura or Ippo. Sure, Takamura could have gotten stronger, but it's hard to tell, especially for that one panel where Coach Kurogama throws up the mitt and Takamura moves out the way and he retaliates. You can see in that one particular panel how darkened his eyes are for no apparent reason at all. You're just darkened. I don't know what time this has happened, which is only 2 other times, is when Ippo was sick and when Coach Kurogama got sick with the cold. The first time when the doctor was just like, he was overworking his body. Now, I don't think this time it's a cold. I think this could be some early signs that Coach Kurogama, in my opinion, is about to kick the bucket. And sure, I understand I've been a heavy pusher of that thing. But in my opinion, when you look at it, where else could it be going? And it's messed up, and most of the people point out, even Coach Kurogama, and the coach is just like, you're getting old, 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 Kurogama, you're getting old, you're getting old. Multiple people have constantly said that Coach Kurogama is getting old and getting up there in age. And what does Coach Kurogama do? He does the exact same thing he's been doing since the 1940s. He don't care. He gonna go back to hitting that gym. He don't care how old you say he is. He's not going to stop no matter what. He invested his life into boxing ever since back then with Rafael Anders. And Anderson. Ever since back then, he's not going to stop. There's a higher chance of Coach Kurogama dying in a gym than actually dying in his own house. So now that I think about it, we've never seen what Coach Kurogama actually lives. We've seen what Nakoda lives, well, with regards to Kurogama, we've never seen where he lives. Like Yagi and like Nakoda and Shinoda is just that's one thing, but Coach Kurogama is just, we've never seen where he lives. No one ever taken a visit to his house. We don't know if he have any other type of family. He's just been there, and it's just. And sure, I'm not saying I want Coach Kurogama to die. I really don't. He's one of the best characters in the series, in my opinion. But the whole thing is, it's just, he looks sick. So, especially with the mix, and sure, it could all be because of Takamura who's gotten better. But honestly, why else would his eyes be this darkened? Like, when I first saw this, it's just like, those are the only other times. So look at Takamura's eyes, or any other scene where Coach Kurogama showed up. And even then, if you look back in the scene, both in the anime and manga, when he first fell out, and because of that fever, because of that cold he had, both times his eyes was not darkened at all. They were regular. I went back and checked. I've looked at this. I've done the research. And the saddest part about it is, it could be a high chance that it could be a very, very high chance that Kurogama might hire somebody else to help out train Takamura and everybody else. And this might end up turning. And the messed up part about it is, before Mike Tyson captured the World Championship, before he actually did that, Kashimoto was in a very similar predicament. which is the oddest thing. Very similar predicament. Which is it is messed up when I think about it. Was in a very similar predicament. As in he was up there in years, he was old, he adopted Mike Tyson, this and that. And I forgot when, but I think it was like before the Tokyo Douglas fight. Before the Tokyo Douglas fight. I can't really pinpoint when Cus D'Amato died, but he did die. And after that, Mike Tyson was not really the same fighter anymore. He wasn't really the same fighter anymore at all, which is messed up and it's sad. But it is a similar parallel. Coach Kurogama is like in his 80s now. Seriously. He's an old man. He should not be taking hits like this at all. He's beyond an old man. He's about to push 90, and it's just he's still pushing his body to the limit because he wants to push his body to the limit. He's not afraid to die. It's just like Cody, who surfed up. You know, they wasn't afraid to take risks. They wasn't afraid to die. It is gonna be sad whenever Coach Kurogama dies. It's gonna be really sad. Of course, I come outside. It's no longer nighttime and it's daytime now. It's gonna be really sad if Kurogama dies. It really is. It's gonna have massive implications on Ippo. But it's gonna affect Takamura more. Cause sure, Ippo, the way, in my opinion, Takamura has replaced his own father with Coach Kurogama. He really has. Especially telling Ippo, you know, don't get him aside like that. Don't get him hyped up in the side like that, just for you to disappoint him. Sure, he cares about the coach as much as everybody else, but like that's like a father and son type of thing. Don't get him side like that. Don't get him hyped up like that. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who sees it like that, but it's just. And I couldn't affect. Back when he fought Desert Eagle, the chapters of hype went up how Takamura was the greatest surrogate son Coach Kurogama ever had. And should I go back and forth? And sure, Coach Kurogama claps open. He busts his Takamura's skull wide open anytime he gets to that cane. To the point where I still find that funny. The fight up to the magician, where just like Coach Kurogama get his cane confiscated. You beat the mess out of me. He was talking to it. It's just why we beat him this bad? Is it that serious that him and his fighter technically threw the fight? Is it that bad? Apparently the Kurogama it was. So yeah, there's not too much left. I would like to know your guys' opinions on if you guys truly believe that Coach Kurogama is sick. Because I personally do. Because these are obvious signs of it. Nobody have eyes like that unless they have a fever or they're sick. And sure, but what about Kimura? In the manga, he didn't have no eyes. No, he didn't. He didn't at all. But that could not actually. That's different because Kimura said that he was better at that point anyway. He did say he was better. So I don't think we could use that as a bargaining chip to say that Coach Kurogama is fine. But Coach Kurogama never used to act like this. Never. And he's taken some heavy punishment. And sure, he's had his hand aching and stuff like that. But he's never been shown to get hit with the mitts and just shake like that. But it could be Takamura. It's just, and that's another thing. We haven't seen the coach in a long time. And we don't know how many days Ippo spent down there in Mexico. We don't know. Apparently some serious stuff went down. Cause it's not too long. It had to be like maybe 1 to 2 days, maybe 3. More than likely like 2 days down there in Mexico. And the reason I say 3, like it had to be like an in-between day with the weigh-in. And yeah, so like roughly like 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days down there, so. I'd like to sit here and tell you guys that I don't believe that Kurogama is gonna die by the end of the series. I really would like to say that there's not a chance of happening. And we're gonna have We're gonna have some glory days where Coach Kurogama is doing great and excellent. See Ippo become world champion, but I don't know, man. If these are like, if the next chapter comes out and Coach Kurogama still has them same eyes, if Coach Kurogama starts to cough, it's all over. Coach Kurogama's gonna die. If he doesn't, maybe it's a light fever. Maybe he's not feeling well temporarily. But in my opinion, he's sick. He actually is sick. He needs some help. It needs to stop. And the only thing that's questionable is, just like before, Takamura can figure out and see when Ippo is whether he's punch drunk or Ippo is getting weaker. Or what else? There's like another example. There was like another example where like Takamura was able to figure out how Ippo was feeling or what he was going through, or when he noticed that something was wrong with Ippo. I'm thinking of another moment I can't remember, but I just found it strange enough when it refers to when it actually refers to Coach Kurogama. Somehow, some way, he is not able to notice when Coach Kurogama is sick at all. I find that odd and quite strange. But just like the first time, Coach Kurogama just kind of dropped. But yeah. I don't know you guys' thoughts and opinion. I do believe that Coach Kurogama is sick, in my personal opinion, because there's no way he can't be with his eyes looking like this and his body shaking crazy like this. 9 times out of 10, Kurogama is sick. 9 times out of 10, there's a very high chance, in my opinion, it's been teased multiple times, that Kurogama's getting old, he's pushing his body too much. Kurogama's getting old, he's pushing his body too much. And we heard this time and time again. And Coach Kurogama never listens. He's too stubborn for his own good. He's been playing too much Tekken. He has too much Tekken, too much fighting spirit. It was only so long. We don't know what type of diet this man has. And it's just, because he's not taking normal punches. What about Floyd Mayweather? They're able to do this and that, and you wouldn't believe the coach is going to end up dying and this and that. It is what it is. So, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. With me, boy, Shockwave King, do you believe that Coach Kurogama is sick? Or do you believe that I am stretching just for some video content until the next chapter drops? With me, boy, Shockwave King, and is our boy Genji sick, or is he well? Be Mr. Shockwave King, and peace.